enjoying the view here from the newly erected scaffold, and really looking forward to what should be a fantastic game.
Yeah, it should be an excellent game, Teo. Melbourne Knights, from just a couple of years ago being in that promotion relegation spot, to steadily building last year, just missing out on the finals, and just improving again with Mickey Collina at the helm this year. But what can you say about Avondale? Made their way to the grand final last year, have rose through the ranks, and this year they're taking all before them.
So let's take a look at the teams and how they line up. Chris Oldfield in goal for Avondale. 2, Scott Hillier. 3, James Riccobene. 5, Matt Reid. 7, Stefan Zinni. 9, Liam Boland. 10, Jonathan Germano. 13, Yute Towns. 17, Phil Riccobene. 18, Tasuku Sakaya. And 22, Stefan Valentini. For Knights, Harry Chuckarun in goal. 5, Aidan Bryce. 6, Thomas Lavuskok. 7, Jean Albano. 9, Hamish Watson. 10, Marian Svitkovic. 11, Nikola Jerkovic. 12, Corey Sewell. 13, Ivan Gergic. 19, Anthony Drizel. And 27 is Joey Franic. Lockie Keevers is today's referee, and Avondale in the blue are going to kick us off, attacking the left of your screens. Knights going it to the right. Chris, as we get this underway, who's going to win and why?
Well, I'm going to sit on the fence. I'm going to say a draw. I think Avondale have been scoring goals for fun this year and have defended well, but they've been up for the 6 weeks now. The Melbourne Knights, after beating the Bentley Greens, which most people probably didn't expect to happen. And then last week, a good win over for Port Melbourne. So I'm going to go 2-2 draw, a bit of entertainment on Saturday afternoon NPL action.
Well, I'm hoping we get the same level of entertainment as we got last night in our fantastic array and choice of matches. Of course, Dandenong City 3-0 up and then losing 4-3 to Dandenong Thunder. And then Bentley Greens and Oakley Cannons. That game was a fairly harmless 2-0 lead for Bentley, and then we had 3 red cards and 3 goals in the last 10 minutes. As we see Knights on the attack here with Albano. Little body check on the way through. Drizel, and now Svitkovic. Will it sit up for a volley? And the close control was there, but Germano intervened. And now Drizel tries again, but Yute Towns is able to clear. So both teams with an early attacking foray, and we can expect a high standard today between two of the top teams. Knights having won 5 out of 6, I should say, and Avondale having won all 6.
Yeah, just the only blemish for the Melbourne Knights, that away trip to Heidelberg, where they pretty much gave up those 2 goals that they lost by. Other than that, it's been strong defence and having Hamish Watson lead the line.
Through ball on the left side. Zinni is going to maraud onto it here, and the cutback is tapped in. Avondale score early. What an opening here, and it's Valentini who makes it 1-0, and the Avondale bench explode up along with all the men in blue who go down to the corner to celebrate. What an assist from Zinni. And it is Stefan Valentini who makes it 1-0.
Yeah, just the Melbourne Knights with a bit hesitant there. It sort of looked like the ball was going to go out, well, they sort of expected it to. The pace of Zinni was able to get the ball and cut it back, and Avondale, what an absolute dream start by the Avengers. And it's hands on hips for the Melbourne Knights early in this game.
Doesn't get much easier than that. Just a matter of make sure your balance is right and tap the ball in, Chris. How about the assist? Jerkovic almost, I don't know if he didn't think that Zinni was going to get to the ball at the byline or wasn't going to run it down, but it seems as though he pulled up the chase and Valentini just had an unchallenged cutback into the box there.
Chuckarun was a little bit slow off the line too, expecting it to go out as well, I believe, too. So in between both of them.
Now, you had the good mail pre-game. You said the grass down at the left of screen was actually a little bit long. Was that a factor in the ball holding up there?
It definitely looked like it held up, and we saw the players dribbling the ball around the cones in the warm-up earlier over there, and it was pretty close control. The ball's not moving too much over there. And we saw that with the ball over the top as well earlier.
And now a little attempt from Uskok that goes wide. Audiences jumped on already, YouTube and Facebook. Great to have Josip Herzog, one of our regulars on the broadcasts, Chris, tuning in on Facebook from Hrvatski Vjesnik, the Croatian Herald. Busy in his other job this weekend. But shout out to Josip. He'll be keenly watching on. I think he's a little bit heartbroken after one of the Croatian teams already got beaten last night in such amazing circumstances. So we'll be hoping the mothership here today, Melbourne Knights, don't suffer a similar fate.
I guess that happens a lot with a lot of the Australian Croatian supporting community. They've got 4 or 5 teams each weekend that they can follow in the NPL, and they can go down to the state leagues with good following of Strathmore as well.
As we see Germano here, that was ambitious at best and drifts well wide. But coming up later this evening, of course, we've got our 2 NPL 2 games streaming for the week. We've got Northcote versus Beleaguered from 5:15, and then 5 p.m, I believe, down at Elco Park, North Geelong Warriors against Werribee City. That's a top-of-the-table clash as well, and we're going to have the new Geelong Dream Team of Steve Curtin and Tonchi Prusak calling that one. So I'm going to enjoy the drive home after this one finishes, to be honest, Chris, because I've got some choices. As we see James Ricobene here for Avondale, who lead 1-0 thanks to the early goal. Boland to shouts of hold it to Suku Sakaya. And that's a great pass through. Valentini, the confidence is up. He's on a very acute angle, though, and this time, unlike the opening goal, he can't run the ball down at the byline.
Yeah, great attack there by Avondale. Quick ball movement, ball over the top. Valentini and Zinni, the two pacey wingers, of causing lots of problems early for the Melbourne Knights.
The exact minute on the goal, 2nd minute. So it's set the tone early. When you come into a big game like this between two top teams, the last thing you want is either side to think about playing for a draw or a good point away from home, or maybe the top team like Avondale happy to consolidate an unbeaten record. The early goal just throws things open a bit. It changes mindsets and game plans, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. It's hopefully it's going to open it up a bit. You can't. A lot of sides like to, especially away from home, be nice and compact for the first 15, 20 minutes, get a feel for the game, get a feel for the conditions. But Melbourne Knights had no chance to do that with such an early goal.
We've got a couple of women's games going as well. Called to Southern with Katie Lambeski, and also South Melbourne away to Box Hill with Anna Harrington and Kat Smith today. So your sport for choice on your Saturday afternoon. I suspect a lot of eyes will be here because of the quality of the contest between two top teams and Knights, who have been behind plenty of times in games this year. Think of their comeback win against Altona Magic, but also the game against Heidelberg. That was the one that was running through my mind, Chris. They've had 5 good wins, and yet they really laid an egg away to the Burgers, and that would maybe be the one result they wouldn't be at all happy with so far this campaign.
Well, speaking from last year, I thought the reason they didn't make the finals, they just had those real lapses in concentrations in games, which have cleaned up quite a bit, but as you said in that game, there's a couple of goals they probably shouldn't have given away.
Oh, now is that a professional foul? No. Avondale bench. Andy Vargas and Jeff Fleming, along with Zoran Markovski. You got a few combustible characters down there in the technical area. They were all up shouting at the 40. And as the ball is blazed away, was that a foul, Chris?
He was sort of looking to try to find that little bit of contact. Was
I definitely said Andy Vargas, didn't I, Chris?
I thought you said Roddy too.
Well, I do apologise. I know the difference between Andy and Roddy Vargas.
One's a little bit more chilled and the other one's a bit more of a hothead, I think, Andy Vargas. He's been great to listen to on the sidelines in these games.
Of course, he was the head coach of the Dandy Thunder last season for a bit. Towns given away by Aiden Bryce, and the pressure is invited on. Uskok made a challenge, but Towns kept the ball, and then he got help from Ivan Gergic to get the ball to Giselle, and now hoping for Watson, but it is Phil Ricobene over at right back, guarding that corner of the pitch, and Sakaya with a bit of space. And now the pass is all important. Boland has lost his marker. Neat little nod down. Zinni wheeling around and then blocked away. And there just seemed to be a little bit too much space there for Avondale in that attacking sense. Knights were able to close them down, but they won't be happy with how that play unfolded to begin with.
It was great work from Liam Boland just to peel off the back of his defender and then have the vision just to cushion the header towards Zinni.
Sorry, Chris.
The Melbourne Knights can just sort of settle into the game a bit, get a bit of possession. It's been pretty end-to-end so far.
Well, we haven't talked about the formations much. Melbourne Knights with Ivan Gergic starting today at centre-back, which has pushed Corey Saul out to left-back. Nikola Jurkovic, who has played centre-back in the past, is playing at right-back. Is it a case that Knights actually have 4 centre-backs playing in their team at the moment, or are you happy with the way that their defensive lineup has been structured? As we see Jurkovic here snapping at the heels of Zinni. Advantage given, and it's a good advantage as far as Avondale are concerned. Here is Valentini. Stepping in, Corey Saul guards him. And Valentini, he's got to make a move here, and then he trips over on the ball. Still able to keep possession though. Germano, things come to a standstill, and he lifts across onto the head of Bryce. Uscock, Knights quite a tall team, able to win it in the air and get the ball away. Now they are able to reload through the right side. Phil Ricabene, it's out for a goal kick.
And just with the Knights, with having those pretty much centre-backs playing full-back positions, what they really lose is going forward. Where Saul and, well, Jurkovic has played a bit of midfield. He's scored some goals from set pieces and that, but just that moving the ball forward, overlapping with the wingers, so it really leaves the Knights wingers pretty isolated in attack.
Now the other big absentee in this game is in the Avondale defence. It's Brandon Lundy. So they've got the Ricabene brothers starting at the respective full-back positions today. And then the centre-backs, Matt Reid, as we see here, an attack is starting to build, but a quick clearance and a late challenge from Franjic is penalised here, and Scott Hillier is the other defender. So Lundy's absence, Chris, thoughts on how that'll affect Avondale?
Well, he's been an absolute star this year. I watched him play for Apia quite a few times last season on the New South Wales streams, and you know, him and Sakaya coming down have been outstanding for Avondale. But Lundy, he's up there with one of the best fullbacks in any NPL, I believe. Very unlucky. He's sort of one of those players. We've seen Walker go to the A-League. We've seen Matty Miller as well. He's somebody who can definitely play professional football. He was at the Newcastle Jets for a little bit when he was a bit younger. So coming down to NPL Victoria, hopefully gets over his injury, back into the side, and just goes from strength to strength. As we know, there's another A-League team in Melbourne, so we've seen with Valentino Yule get an opportunity. So it's up to these NPL players to play high-quality football and get those opportunities.
We have a little bit of a squabble over the ball being returned here. We are live and interactive. Keep the comments coming today. I've now checked in on the other streams going on to make sure they're all right. Now I can focus right in on the comments that are coming in. Please post them in English, because I'm no chance of reading them out in Croatian, that's for sure. Marto says, come on, Knights. And Josip says, Knights caught napping early. Not used to playing matches like this. Makes for a really interesting contest. And Vlado says, go Croatia. Of course, Melbourne Knights, Melbourne, Croatia. The away team here at Avenger Park today. Uscock strokes the ball down to the byline. And there is a bit of a battle, and it is going to be a corner. So all credit there to Jean Albano, who made it a contest, and as much as Hillier may protest, and Matt Reid protests as well, it's a corner kick coming up.
Once again, with the grass being that little bit longer, the ball just held up, and it wasn't being able to usher it out for the goal kick. The Knights with a great opportunity to get level, that you know how dangerous they are from set pieces.
So Marian Svitkovic to take the corner. Drifting it, Uscock the target, it skims off his head. He got there, but couldn't steer it goalwards. And now at the far post, Albano, who's made a bright start for Knights' cause. Against Phil Ricabene. Into the box he goes. The fast feet. Corey Saul tried to shoot on sight. And Yite Towns blocked it away. And then his thoughts are entirely about clearing, and he does. Will Farragut says, shout out in the Isle of Man. Mon the lads.
That's it, NPL Victoria's. You can watch it anywhere in the world now these days.
You certainly can, and I know that our YouTube audiences have been sensational for these games, so if you're watching on YouTube and you want to interact, you can just get your phone out and say hello to us on Facebook in the comments as well.
Also, cool little feature too with watching on the Facebook as well. You can always see if there's a good goal or something, you want to see something back, you can always use
the 10-second rewind. How good is
rewind. I used that a couple of times last night with a couple of Davey Van Schip goals.
Long ball from Reed. Boland chasing. It does hold up on that lush surface that we spoke about. Giselle's header. Germano led with the arm, but he didn't make meaningful contact with man or ball. Hillier clears. Gurgic charging through to Suku Sakir. And then Gurgic again just boots it away.
Been super impressed with Jan Albano this year for the Melbourne Knights. Got a couple of goals so far, and just his trickery in those one-on-one situations. Always wants to take on the fullback.
Good anticipation from Bryce. And he gets a body check from Towns. It is advantage Knights. and then trying to play it through the channel for Watson. It's cleared away. Mickey Collina, of course, the Melbourne Knights coach, he's urging his team to calm things down. Former Knights NSL winner Zoran Markovsky is the Avondale gaffer. Drizel has had a really strong start to his season, even though he did get sent off against Altona. That was in a game where he played quite well, to be honest, as Jurkovic drifts in across. Svitkovic made contact, but again it slides off his head and through the area. Albano trying to return it. The sun has broken out here. We've gone from heavy rain to bright sunshine. It is classic Melbourne weather this afternoon. Oh, and this is an arm on the way through and a card for Corey Saul. And I tell you what, he's got full value for his contact here because he's wiped out Tasuku Sakaya. I don't know how heavy the blow was, but that to me looked like a bit of a cheapie, Chris.
Yeah,
has the referee been a little lenient?
Well, it's something. He's definitely put the arm across him with quite a bit of pace. It wasn't just your normal body check. He made sure he, as you said, got full value for that. Sakaya picks himself up, but it's he's lucky he didn't get him in the head. He seems to have got him right across the chest, it seems, from having a quick look at the replay.
Yeah, I've watched this back a few times here. I mean, for Lockie Keevers, who never met a red card he didn't like, I'm a bit surprised anyway. I'm not trying to get someone sent off. Let's respect the referee's call. It's a yellow, and I think maybe the best indicator is no one went into protest and it didn't explode into more, Chris, which is generally a sign that this decision was a good one. Because at NPL level, you rarely need an invitation for players to come together and start grabbing each other's shirts and accusing each other of various offences. So the good thing is we're back focusing on the football. This is James Riccobene taking some meterage, and then his cross is a letdown as it slides straight, and yet the keeper's been drawn in Sakaya. Well, you put that down as a completed pass, it nearly accidentally worked out.
Players just really haven't adjusted to that long turf a little bit so far in this game. It's really, really holding up. As you saw that one, it was a slow looping pass and it just stopped dead.
James Riccobene. And Giselle with the challenge. I'm going to call it early, Chris. If there's a player who's going to be the highest polling player in the gold medal that is ineligible, I'm not saying he's going to finish top of the count, but I reckon Anthony Drizel, come gold medal night, might have a few people nervous about potentially winning the count while ineligible.
Yeah, he's been outstanding. Knights fans for the last couple of years have sort of seen his quality, but he's just playing a lot more consistent now than he ever has, just a bit more maturity, and it's been a big part of why the Knights have been so successful.
So here comes the free kick, Sakaya. And attempted the spectacular from Valentini, goes high over the bar. It got a little flick on from Knights, but then the end product goes well out over into the Calabria club.
Well, these two sides are probably the best two set-piece sides in the NPL. Liam Boland already got 4 goals from set-piece deliveries. You know how dangerous Wilscock can be in those situations, and Jurkovic. And Hamish Watson as well, so it's going to be dangerous giving away fouls in those sort of areas today.
And great show of sportsmanship initially from Jurkovic, and then immediately reverts to type by going to try and grab the ball off Zinni, who himself has been in the referee's ear and rather agitated at some of the physicality of this game. You can tell it is a hotly contested match between two top teams. Jurkovic's throw, Albano to Watson. The back heel straight to Sakaya. Clears it high and long. And you hear the shouts for Hari Chakarun to come out and collect. Jack Morgan says, loving your work. Thank you, Jack, one of the referees watching in. And Anthony, referring to that incident for Corey Saul, says nothing in it. Xavier says, just give Avondale the trophy already. I tell you what, Chris, they don't give out trophies in March.
We're only around the quarter of a way through the season. We thought that after the first couple of rounds of how well the Bentley Greens have played, and they've sort of dropped off. So every side will have that little moment.
And don't forget, the transfer window transforms seasons, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely, without doubt. See sides that are in relegation trouble steer clear of it because they make 3 or 4 really solid acquisitions. Also for the race for the premiership, Premier's Plate.
Reed. Germano. One of the players keeping Joey Katabian on the bench at the moment. This Avondale team, when you're winning, it's hard to hard to drop players, really. We had Yusuf Ahmed score for Avondale off the bench last week, and yet he is consigned back to the bench because of the strength of the team.
They're the two for Avondale, Katavian and Gumano, who had quite a few injuries in pre-season, slow starts to the season, and still they've been able to manage and win and play the way that they've been playing. Gumano, after a couple of under-20 sort of games to get a bit more match fitness, has come into the side the last few weeks and just sits in the base of the midfield.
Throwing on the right now. Valentini. Phil Ricabene. Knights making a contest, but Uskok went without the ball. Phil Ricabene continues. Boland turning straight into the challenge of Bryce. Watson holds it up. Albano is trying to sneak out the left, and Svitkovic's pass won't meet him. Reed knew exactly where Albano was, and now he runs back into Svitkovic, and Albano does end up with the ball at his feet and can just show a little turn of speed. Playing it to Watson. And Watson wheeled straight into Germano, and it is a goal kick. Not a huge crowd here at Avenger Park today, Chris. My generous estimate would be 150.
Yeah, probably that's very generous, I think. Still quite of the under-20s from Avondale have stuck around for the seniors game.
Of course, to the right of your screens, Knights active supporters made their way in, but they're not really vociferous at the moment, safe to say. So we see a crossfield ball here. Zinni measured it to perfection right against the paint of the line, and then Jurkovic would not be outpaced there. He kept up with Zinni and slid in.
There's quite a bit to do around the Calabria Club today too, with a food truck festival in the car park, which is seeing quite a few people park up the streets here.
Germano. Jurkovic. Towns. Sakaya in space. He likes a long shot, as we know, but he opts to defer to Valentini here. Stefan Valentini blocked away by Gergic. And now Uskok against the much more slight Sakaya. Kept it moving, and then Sakaya back in against Watson. Zinni tries to cut past Jurkovic, who goes to ground, but had help in the form of Bryce. Sakaya loses out to Svitkovic. Behind the referee they go. Franjic to Corey Saul. Bit of off-the-ball stuff between Zinni and Jurkovic, and just no love lost between these teams. The fourth official cools things down. Long ball from Bryce. A hopeful one, but Reed has to try and anticipate it on the win, and Watson made a contest, but held on to by the keeper.
It's been a real success story, this new partnership at the back for Avondale with Reed and Hillier.
Oh, late challenge here from Bryce. He's wiped out Boland, and that is now 2 of the Knights' back 4 in the book. And once again, I think they're getting full value for these yellows, Chris.
Yeah, they've right through the pack of Liam Boland trying to turn.
Gee, it was late. The ball was long gone.
Players just getting a little bit more leniency today from the man in the middle.
.22 minutes, 2 cards. Goal in the second minute, the difference between the teams. Towns. Germano. Ricabene. Sakaya. Valentini being chased and followed by Saul. Uskok made it a 3-on-1 with Franjic's involvement. But the ball ricochets back to Phil Ricabene. Towns, awkward for Hillier, but he keeps it moving. James Ricabene now. His pass was always heading for a Knights player. Zinni against Drizel. Laterally to Towns. Boland tried to hold it up so that it could meet the run of Valentini, but just a bit too much on it, and out it goes for a goal kick.
Really good quality in this game so far. You know, good passing from both sides, some really physical challenges. Great intensity, as you said, it really is a real budding rivalry. Avondale, they're ground wasn't fit for, I guess, for the NPL when they got promoted a couple of years ago. Both of these two shared the Melbourne Knights Stadium.
Yes, the tenant derby, as it was known, Chris, and that was certainly one of the underlying factors in the dislike between these two teams. Oldfield, we've barely called his name in this game so far. That clearance does get over Giselle, who was straining to get back. Now again, an awkward one to judge. The wind has just eased up, though. You wouldn't know it was raining at all. The weather's now absolutely perfect, Chris.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day in Melbourne, it's turned out to be.
I don't want to jinx it. It's only early days. Only 20 minutes into this match.
You saw with last night with all the 4 games too. It started off not too bad for all the games, but then we had a bit of rain and hail in some of them and windy conditions. This is Melbourne after all.
Yeah, even a ground where the cameraman and the commentators are protected, like Endeavour Hills, Dandenong City's ground, you can see the rain was still hammering down. Of course, the wind changed everything, and that was the case for you at CV Smith, Chris. They might have built a big old grandstand, but it left everyone drenched anyway.
It was just a bit unlucky last night. It does happen. It's a bit of the joys of the NPL out there in the grandstand in the outer with the patrons. We've invested in a couple of good raincoats, so I should be fine this year, Teo.
Jurkovic keeping it from Zinni. These are the battles within the battle. These little duels that we've seen so far. The game has found a decent tempo. It's not breakneck speed at the moment. Long throw. Zinni in a 1-on-2. One thing Knights have done well, Chris, is that they've closed ranks and defended in numbers so far since the early goal.
Yeah, they've done that well, but just when they've won the ball, sort of really relying on Watson to be able to hold it up and allow those wingers and that to get forward. So they've been out. Avondale's had a bit more of the possession.
Do you know who the account Nike Hernan is a burner of, Chris? Because I see young Nike comment on many streams, men's, women's, all around Victorian football. Clearly someone who is well informed about things, but I'm yet to put my finger on who exactly young Nike Hernan is.
3 Penguins by the look of the picture.
Yeah, no.
That's a burner account sort of giveaway.
I have to speak to you about that at half-time then, because I'm clueless. Here's Sakaya. Advantage once again. Low to Towns. Again, trying to step over. It might work out. Sakaya's there. He doesn't lash a shot, though. Tried to turn it central. And perhaps you just got to go yourself in that situation. And now, due to a foul, it is going to be a Knights free kick. But that's a missed opportunity for Avondale.
Oh, definitely a missed opportunity. Standing on Thunder say Tom Long in disguise.
Well, we've got one of last night's commentators, Burham Suleimani, tuning in as well. You could hear the excitement in his voice during that comeback last night. Great commentary from Marcus Copsey. Here is Giselle, and that is a vital block coming in from Hillier, and then a little overzealous trying to win the contest.
It was a good block. That was really travelling. It was going to cause Oldfield quite a bit of problems, but
Your risk of a handball there is always high, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. Lockie Keever's right there, and I guess it really got smashed at him quick, so it's allowed the game to play on, but the foul's eventually being given.
Now, a Knight's ruling out the direct shot here. Avondale are going to show the respect of putting a couple in the wall, but they take it quickly, and the referee insists that it comes back. The wall was still being set.
It's one of those ones where you're happy the referee brings it back when you stuff the pass up.
So they're putting 3 in the wall. The corner flags, they're fluttering, but if anything, it's going from right to left across the ground. Chris Oldfield stands alone in the 6-yard box. Here comes the free kick. Uscock's got a free header! And it wouldn't have counted because it was offside. And that is how he managed to get so loose at a set piece.
Well, Chris Oldfield didn't know that at the time, and he made a great save. The Melbourne Knights, Uscock again a couple of times.
Audience continues to build. Hello to everyone watching today. We've got George Sabelyak, the editor of the Croatian Herald, watching in. Fantastic supporter of Victorian football, of course, and the Croatian Herald doing a great job this year, as are Neos Cosmos, the Greek paper. We love all our ethnic language papers, Chris. I often have to go and find people in the office to read me the articles. As we see another coming together. Knights are arguing that now it's Valentini's turn, and it's getting chesty. Boland is starting to get a bit aggro. Uskok is maybe playing peacemaker more than anything. And now all the attention turns to the referee. It seems like a bit of much ado about nothing, though. Thoughts, Chris?
They're not happy with
Valentini. I'm watching this contact here. It's a little bit. I'm going to have to have a couple of looks at the replay here to work out exactly what's got them all so angry. He was snapping at the heels. It's late contact. Gee, I'm really at a loss as to see exactly what they're so worked up about here.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. We've both had a look at the replays, and
maybe our viewers can point it out with the advantage of being able to watch it back a few more times.
And on a much bigger screen too, hopefully at home.
Anyway, this time last year we didn't have the advantage of replays to aid our decision, Chris. You had to just go first time. And the end result is that it's a foul and a free kick.
It's a good scuffle between Duzel and Valentini and all that.
Great to have Brandon Barnes watching in, Thunder Marksman, enjoying some NPL action with us as Sakaya takes the free kick, and that one is too close to the keeper. Hadi Chakarun holds on. And you just tell there's a bit of niggle now in the game, isn't there, Chris? It's starting to really get a bit edgy.
Yeah, Matthew Reid was quite happy to bump into the goalkeeper. A little bit late, nothing really in it, but a few words exchanged.
Game has been 1-0 to Avondale since the second minute, and that is a bad challenge from Gergic. Again, just a blatant yellow, and that is 3 of the Knights' back 4 on a card. Chris, does Mickey Cholina start to think about a sub even?
Well, he's hopefully get to half-time and try to assess things of what he can do, but players just got to calm down at the back. A couple of those challenges are being completely unneeded as well.
Knights bench today, Luke Juricic, a defender, AJ Anea, Daniel Vizovic and Attila Roffley. So it's a very attacking bench, and just the one recognised defender in Juricic, who is a left-back, but of course Tomislav Uskok can play centre-back quite comfortably if required. And now the free kick is taken short and onto the head of Aidan Bryce. The Avondale bench is Evan Markagianakis, Jais Patiri, Kenan Gibson, Yusuf Ahmed and Joey Katabian. Here's Towns, having a good game. Out to Valentini, our goal scorer. Stefan Valentini against Jurkovic. At the byline, it tumbles across, only as far as Bryce, who sweeps onto it, and in fact it did go out, so it's a goal kick. The chat seems to think again there was nothing in the challenge that had players coming together, expressing their dislike for one another, at least when the whistle goes. A couple of umbrellas starting to pop open here. The wind has blown through a little bit of a shower.
Very lucky over here, too. We're very well protected in this Avondale's new scaffolding.
I tell you what, the Casa de Avenger is an absolute marvellous
Casa de Avenger,
setup.
I like that one.
Well, the grandstand hasn't exactly got off the ground just yet.
We're in the grandstand, aren't we, Teo?
We are for now, but still having dreams and aspirations of building something a bit similar to what they've got at Hume City. Hopefully, unlike CB Smith, there won't be a big dirty light pole in the way.
Yeah, that's probably not the most well-engineered ground, that one, CB Smith.
Here is Sakaya, Saul tumbling into him. Risky from a player on a card. And now Zinni is caught by Gergic. Albano, Knights need an attack. They haven't asked many questions of Chris Oldfield, the goalkeeper. Most of them have really ended at the hands of their centre-back pairing so far. And once again, the Avondale defence prevails. Boland, good hold-up play. Uskok couldn't drive the ball forward, but did at least get it to Drizel. And then foul here by James Rikabene on Svitkovic. Shout out to Ezel Hikmet, the manager of competitions at FFE or FE. Here is a shot from Drizel, and he just couldn't get the angle right as it goes wide left.
His eyes lit up with that one. It fell perfectly for him. You can see what he was trying to do, cut across the ball and sort of bend it into the far post. Just didn't get it right. Pretty much hit the belly of the ball.
That's their best chance of the game so far, Chris.
Oh, definitely. We've had a couple of half chances with headers, which they've just skimmed off the top of their heads, but first real shot in anger.
Great to have Anthony Banavac from North Geelong Warriors watching it. Of course, they're live later this afternoon against Werribee City. That game kicks off at 5 p.m. Wind picking up a bit. Boland lays it off. Sakaya in full flight, but blocked away. Good defending by Bryce. Another chance coming for Avondale. Svitkovic drives it away, and on the back of the wind, it does sail out.
It's been a bit of a difference in the game when the Melbourne Knights get the ball out of defence and look up there. Giving the ball back too cheaply. Avondale have held on to the ball a lot better so far.
Oldfields hurried. Uscock brings it down. It's there to be won. Big 50-50. Give the points to Towns because it fell to his teammate. Guric. Franjic. Corey Saul. Errant touch from Franjic, invites on the pressure, but Svitkovic makes it work. And now Germano. Boland from downtown. Put it down as a shot on target, but an easy one for the keeper to catch onto.
Tried his luck last week from long range as well. We know what Liam Boland's capable of, but he had teammates streaming either side of him. Was unable to find them where they really could have broke with straight into the heart of the Melbourne Knights goal then.
Guric trying to turn creative midfielder there. Germano. Got a message here from head of NPL, Hakan Doan. Do you want a steak roll or a hamburger, Chris? What's your halftime order here?
Oh, steak roll, steak roll, steak roll. I must admit, I have tried the potato cakes here, and they weren't the best, but we'll be able to give a chance of their steak roll.
From the byline, Zinni. Just enough on the header to get it out of the box. Watson helping out. And then cleared by Drizel under duress. Probably a foul there, and indeed the foul is paid as the ball bounces out.
As Teo just puts my order through.
I was going to say, does our cameraman Nathan Sack want anything from the Avondale cafeteria? Steak roll?
Steak roll for the Sack man.
This is NPL Victoria. This is how it works.
Must admit, I haven't really tried the food other than the potato cakes here, so.
Long ball through the left side. Sakaya. Sakaya against Bryce. Corner kick. And you spoke earlier in the half, Chris, about the proficiency of these two teams at set pieces.
That's it. Liam Boland, Scott Hillier, and Reed. 3 big targets come.
We're into the last 10 minutes of the half.
The zonal marking from the Melbourne Knights.
No one in the 6-yard box yet for Avondale. Germano is there now. Sakaya swings it in right into the mixer. Uscock wins the header. Zinni came through, but Drizel kept his composure. And now Uscock, who cleared it initially, is looking to thrust forward. Lost his feet, but it's still a great pass. Albano is in! Great save by Oldfield. Well, Knights with a great look at an equaliser. And Chris Oldfield has come up with a top-notch save.
As the Knights stay on the attack.
They do, through Watson now. Sideways, Franjic, oh, big chance, but Sakaya did well. And Towns boots it away.
Just outstanding by Tomislav Uscock. Headed the ball out of his own box, started the counter-attack, and that ball was inch perfect. Jean Albano got a really good shot away, but Chris Oldfield got down low and made a great save. One of the best NPL goalkeepers for quite a long time now.
Of course, reigning goalkeeper of the year this year. What a chance for Knights. I guess that's the first real sign of what they can do on the counter-attack, Chris. And they've now had the 2 best opportunities to score in the last 10 minutes or so. Avondale looking for a response. Saul snapping at the heels of Sakaya. Has to be so careful. In terms of the technique of Albano, I think he did everything right, didn't he, Chris?
Yeah, he did. Got a good shot away. It was going to go inside that post.
Good reflexes at close range from Oldfield to deny him. Knights have got possession. They've got a bit of impetus now, having tested Oldfield really for the first time, and that pass breaks straight and bends away from Jurkovic. James says some pill from Uskok, good save. And Robert says, I won't read that, Robert, that's a little bit mean. I like it. I like Kyle Kennedy, Robert.
I like Kyle Kennedy too.
Yeah. We're Team Kyle up here.
We're definitely Team Kyle.
Restart here from Avondale. Jurkovic wins the header.
In fact, Tayo, with your beard, you sort of got a bit of a Kyle Kennedy look about you at the moment.
Tell you what, I'm certainly not as good a goalkeeper, Chris. Some would say not as good a bloke either. Here comes a throw from Ricavene. Down to the byline. Gergic ushers it out.
How good's he look in pink? Because he does like the pink goalkeeping top, does Kyle Kennedy.
Very true. Of course, Dandenong City last night, heartbreak for them. 3-0 up and then losing 4-3. A couple of late goals, equaliser in the 83rd, winner in stoppage time.
The weather wasn't great last night, but the goals are flowing in the 4 games.
We've had just the one so far, but the promise of more. This game is very much in the balance at the moment. Aiden Bryce, long ball. Gets another shot at it. Gergic. And Saul, loose touch, out it goes. Sakaya. James Ricavene getting forward, but wants to break wide. Zinni's cross. Gergic went to ground, but found a teammate. Albano starting deep. And then possession is yielded. So, a couple of my observations, Chris. Tasuku Sakaya has been finding a lot of space, especially in the attacking half. I like his defensive hustle as well. He's a very accountable player, isn't he? He's not purely a creative playmaker because he's willing to do the central midfield work of going and winning the ball back.
He always gets back, and that's a real Avondale thing too, and why they've been so successful with their defence so far this year, conceding the least amount of goals. Is even their wingers in Zinni and Valentini will always help out the defence as well too. They're quite happy to start with numbers down back and run it up. They protect each other really well.
That pass as Towns just shimmies the hips, loses Uskok, and it is a foul. Is it going to be another card? This is 4 in the book for Knights. This is, well, a tightrope for many of them now. We're drawing in on half-time, 42nd minute, but Tomislav Uskok joins Corey Saul, Aiden Bryce, and Nikola Jurkovic in the book.
Might be
Ivan Gergic, I should say.
Might be a bit unlucky with the Gergic and Uskok's last 2 yellows, considering the full value that Corey Saul and Bryce got with their challenges. Just Lockie Keever's just quick to get the card out when sides are really on the attack for that little professional foul.
Germano with a mid-range free kick. Who's he aiming for? Boland is his target, and that is right under the head of Bryce. A wasted opportunity. And now Hillier just clears it straight out to the fence. Maybe a bit of urgency coming as we work our way towards half-time. Svitkovic. Jurkovic. Watson. Albano. Jean Albano flicked off the head. Watson made a challenge, but puts it over the bar. Little chance for Knights. Nearly something, but not quite.
The deflection was perfect. They'd put it right into his path. Just couldn't get over the top of the header. Melbourne Knights have definitely had these little half chances in the second half of this first half. And Watson really hasn't been involved in the build-up a huge amount so far this game.
Gergic. Watson holding it up. Svitkovic forced backwards. Knew where Uskok was. Giselle. Sakaya able to win the ball away. And then off the ball contact on Yite Towns. Gee, Avondale, they're up in arms because it's going to be a second yellow. And for the second season in a row, Tomislav Uskok has been sent off at Avenger Park. 2 yellow cards come in quick succession. And now it's starting to get aggro because a few Avondale players, perhaps needlessly, are going and getting in his ear. And cool heads have to prevail here because Uskok was going peacefully. It's Avondale who went in to try and antagonise. And I tell you what, Chris, it's down to 10 men. We knew this was coming. Just the frequency of the cards made this inevitable.
And it was the man who got the last 2, Tomislav Uskok. A couple of ones that probably didn't really... There's a couple of, I think, softy sort of yellow cards too, considering some of the ones that were given early in this game. So I think Tomislav Uskok can find himself a little bit unlucky to get the yellow cards, as Lockie Keever still has to sort out a few of the arguments.
Well, he was sent off here last season, Uskok. He's been sent off here again. It's not a happy hunting ground for him.
What a great opportunity now for Avondale to really push this advantage home. Already got the lead. Still a long time to go to play with 10 men for the Melbourne Knights.
Knights had been doing quite well in this half as it wore on, but now maybe this will swing the momentum right at the end of the first 45. There's going to be 3 additional minutes coming up. Header from James Ricobene to Zinni. And it's out for a corner. Up goes the board for additional time. Carl says neither of those were yellow.
Bob Blaze says this ref's been waiting to hand out red. Bob Blaze, who always seems to be commentating on all the streams.
Well, we love our viewers on these streams. We've got a healthy audience in at the moment watching this top of the table clash. Here comes the corner from Sakaya. And it falls onto Jurkovic. Didn't know anything about it, and then Corey Saul clears away. Pack of players break out of the box. Phil Ricobene to Sakaya. Great techers. First time attempted a cross, but it's blocked by Jurkovic. And now Watson intercepted. James Ricobene onto the chest of Ivan Gergic. Long ball. And Matthew Reid. 1 minute of stoppages ticked by.
Melbourne Knights with all their players back behind the ball. Just try to get to half-time and reassess things.
Avondale back 4, happy to keep the ball at the moment. Knights are just sitting back, waiting to see what might be coming at the end of this first half. Can they get to half-time? Only 1 goal down. Valentini, he's been an antagonist. He's the only goal scorer. And now he's against Corey Saul. You can see there, even just the chippiness of giving him a hug like that, Chris. He's really trying to get under the skin of some of these Knights players. Zinni waited for the run of Ricobene to draw a player, and then he went to try and exploit the space, but no passing Aiden Bryce. That was a great tackle. Watson. Towns not taking a backward step against him. Ricobene to Sakaya. Feel like this is red alert for Knights here at the end of the half. Boland keeps it moving. Zinni tried for the bending shot off the number of Jurkovic. And now Germano. Again, another shot on sight. This one blocked by Svitkovic. Out in front of Jean Albano. He had Knights' best chance at an equaliser. Now he goes on the run here. Avondale defence backtracking. Albano continues to duck and weave and eventually runs out of space. And it's met by the half-time whistle. Chris Gleeson, thoughts so far on Avondale 1, Melbourne Knights 0.
Giving away that early goal was a bit disastrous for the Melbourne Knights. Just lack of concentration, and in the end it was a real simple tap in for Valentini. After that, Avondale and the Melbourne Knights played some really good football. The Knights, as you said, as that half wore on, were creating a couple of good opportunities. It looked delicately poised, but now that Uskok 2 yellows in quick succession in his red cards really going to change things here. Melbourne Knights really have to reassess and see what they can change in the second half to get back in this game. It's only the 1 goal advantage, so they can always nick one at a set piece and just defend really well. But this top of the table clash, it looks like Avondale at the moment are odds-on favourite to continue their run and record another victory. So it's up to the Melbourne Knights. What have they got in them? They've got a big show of character.
Stay with us here on the NPL Victoria YouTube channel and Facebook page. You'll have the countdown clock on your screens for when the second half will return. Teo Pellizzeri and Chris Gleeson with you from Avenger Park. We're at half-time. It is Avondale 1, Melbourne Knights 0. Avondale, the home team, 1. Knights, crucially, down to 10 men after a red card to Tomislav Uskok right at the end of that first half. Teo Pellizzeri and Chris Gleeson with you. Looking around the pitch, it seems as though neither team has made any substitutions during the half-time break. Of course, decision time for Knights may arrive sooner rather than later due to that red card for Uskok, who was playing in midfield. For now, they stick with the same 10 that started the game. As the whistle goes at the start of this second 45, it is still all to play for because it is only the odd goal. Jean Albano drawing a great save from Chris Oldfield. Midway through that first half was Knights' best chance at an equaliser, and Chris Gleeson, until Avondale get a second, this game is not out of Knights' reach just yet.
No, that's exactly right. Like I said, if the Melbourne Knights just can defend well and keep Avondale at bay, they're so dangerous from set pieces that they can get that goal to get back level.
Here's Corey Saul, one of a number of Knights players still on a yellow card from that first 45. What about the discipline discussion, Chris? Because all the yellow cards have gone one way. They've all been for Knights. Some of the tackles were, you know, even a little bit orangey in nature as opposed to just a yellow. Some of them were a little bit on the easier side. But do you think they'll rein it in, or is it just going to be, we've come here with a plan to be physical, and if we go down swinging, so be it?
I think that especially the already losing a man, they've just got to temper things a little bit. Just try to stay compact. You know, especially with the winger show on the outside, don't go into rash challenges. And if they can just, like I said, they can just hold on and stay in this game, as the offside flag goes up, that they can nick a goal, the Melbourne Knights, and it's not like they haven't scored playing with 10 men before either, so.
Our online audience is rebuilding again at the start of this second half, both on YouTube and Facebook. Make sure you comment or tag in your mates. Let them know you're watching NPL Victoria. Great to have Alana Kataya from the FV office watching in. Does fantastic work with all the graphics that you see on so many of the Football Victoria properties. Here's a ball through the left side. Zinni is in behind. The flag is up. And that was a neat little finish, but the flag had already put an end to his run, and Avondale showing what they can do.
It's great run on the inside. Just went a little bit too early. Too quick offsides, and they've given the ball up cheaply here, the Knights again.
And that was James Ricobene trying to swing it across. It's hooked away emphatically. Flick header on. And now running down the other end, John Albano is through again. And this time, it comes with an equaliser. Knights are level. And the 10 men get their goal. John Albano makes amends for the first half. And this game is level 1-1.
Oh, Watson with the flick header, just like a knife through butter of the Avondale defence. Albano 1-on-1. He's been in a bit of a hot streak for the Melbourne Knights, and he's probably their most attacking player today. See, he's playing a lot closer to Hamish Watson in the second half, and once he was 1-on-1, gee, did he take that chance well and get it past Oldfield. 10 men and they're back level.
Really, for the first time today, we hear the travelling Knights fans as well finding their voice. You're right to credit the header from Watson, though, Chris. It really just opened up an Avondale defence that had had so many answers in the first half, and this time Oldfield, as much as he did his best to try and stop the one-on-one chance, they were able to score. And so now, Melbourne Knights have got a foothold in the game. Avondale, perhaps they can make their man advantage count. Gudigic. Franjic. Corey Saul. Hits it high and long. Albano has already got one. Can he make this one dangerous? It's held onto by Oldfield.
Can already see that change with Albano probably playing as the striker now and Watson playing as the number 10. Switkovic dropping into midfield.
Hillier's long ball. In comes Valentini. Slick little ball. Towns brought down and penalty given. Giselle protests. Knights thought it was offside. All the necks snapped around to the assistant referee. That was certainly the first port of call for many when they saw Towns get in behind.
Well, Giselle nibbled at him. Towns tried to keep his feet. Initially when the ball went away from him, the Lockie Keevers gave the penalty, but
a discussion has ensued here. There is a card for Giselle. He gets a yellow. And so it's a penalty kick, and Knights were not level for long. They're going to need Chakarun to keep parity in this game, or they're going to need Boland to miss, because he has been on the money from his penalty kicks.
Bottom left, Boland.
Knights line up across the penalty area, waiting for the spot kick from Liam Boland. Chakarun makes himself big on the line. Huge moment in this game. Boland's penalty. And he puts it in. Avondale retake the lead. It was close. Chakarun went the right way. But the shot was hit with enough power to find its way past his outstretched right hand, and it is 2-1 to Avondale.
Outstanding penalty by Liam Boland. Makes the most of it. Really too much power, as you said. Chakarun did everything he possibly could. Picked the right way. Got down low, but just fizzed past him before he could get there. I did say bottom left just before he took that. There is actually a way that Liam Boland takes his penalties and how he mixes it up. He's got his own little routine.
And so, an exchange of goals early in the second half means Avondale are back in front. Now the question is, can Knights dig deep and come up with another equaliser? There's certainly been a change to the weather. Windier, more overcast. Rain hasn't returned just yet. Not too many thoughts in the comments about the penalty.
And we do see a couple of temporary lights closer to us that might need to be used as the game goes on.
Franjic, Giselle. Long ball over the left. Here goes Albano. Has one. Can he turn provider here? Cutting in, goes to ground, waved away. And where Avondale had a rather clear-cut penalty at one end, there is no decision here at the other. Ball over the top. Bryce committed. Boland knocking it on, but Gurgic comes across to assist. It's cleared away. You just feel, Chris, like Avondale might be about to break away if they do get a 2-goal buffer here. Knights have to hold firm.
Such high scorers in this league so far this year.
They've had all the answers so far this season. They're going for their 7th win out of 7. James Ricabene. Raking ball. Valentini concedes ground. Back to Germano. There are a few gaps there in the absence of Uskok, of course. And that one over the head of Jurkovic. Here is Zinni. With a little burst. Zinni wants to shoot, and it's straight at Chakarun, who holds.
It's great work from Zinni to find that angle to get the shot away. Just not enough power on it. Chakarun well positions. See, the Melbourne Knights are playing a few more long balls in this second half, trying to get this man in the channels.
And he's here again. Albano cutting it back, and Franjic was nearly there. Sakaya backtracking is the one who turns it behind for a corner.
Having their little moments, the Melbourne Knights, on the counter-attacks. Albano really causing problems, making some really good runs off the shoulders of the centre-backs. That's the chance, set piece for the Melbourne Knights.
Uskok would have been one of their more obvious aerial targets as well. Instead, Giselle's corner, goalkeeper's domain, and even though he's challenged by Jurkovic, Oldfield comes up with the ball.
Great take there by Chris Oldfield, just to throw it out with a, looks like Reed's injured in the box. Bit of a collision between a few players. Reed picks himself up now. Albano can throw it back to Chris Oldfield. Chris Oldfield to restart the game. It's really, really windy now. Takes it short. Good pressing by the Melbourne Knights, win themselves a throw.
Corey Saul will make his way up from the left. Svitkovic. Albano. cut through, but then the pass couldn't find a teammate. Late contact has left him floored. Valentini out in front of Boland. The wind is really gusting now. And Jurkovic gets it away. Of course, those two have history. Jurkovic picked up quite a long suspension when Boland was playing for Hume City a couple of seasons ago, and Jurkovic kicked out at him when he was on the ground.
He's had his discipline problem in the past as Jurkovic always picks up that red card every season.
So far, he's one of the Knights players that hasn't got on the referee's bad side today. He's in challenging for the ball here, but illegally. The wind was going across the ground in the first half, Chris, but really coming off the freeway here at Reggio Calabria Club, it's almost on a diagonal that it is now more or less pushing towards the end that Avondale are attacking, towards the end that Knights are attacking, I should say.
Well, it's definitely turned around the wind and really considerably picked up.
Ricobene climbed into Watson. See the ball hold up in the wind. That's an example of how much it's picked up. Saul's header. It's going to tail its way down to Oldfield. James Ricobene now. Oldfield once again. Shallow clearance. Knights with a chance here. Giselle. Franic. Albano just lost his step there. And a little bit of grabbing and grappling. Avondale come away with possession. Germano. Aiden Bryce. Svitkovic. Lost out to James Ricobene. Towns to Sakaya. Couldn't quite outfox Bryce, but Valentini followed in and kept the ball moving. It holds up though. Corey Saul is there to pick it off. Svitkovic. Saul. Now Boland. His goal the difference between the teams. And Zinni. Look at the speed on Stefan Zinni. Jurkovic is pursuing, but Zinni cuts it across. And Aiden Bryce has been huge today for Knights' cause in defence.
Outstanding there by Bryce. Got his positioning perfect. Maybe intercept, and now the Melbourne Knights looking to counter-attack.
Franic. Giselle. And Albano wide. Has Watson to aim for, but the ball's not going to get there. Can try it once more here on his right side. It's a looping ball. Jurkovic at the back post. Avondale have got to be careful here. Knights continuing to give as good as they get, even though they are the ones down to 10 men. Franic's cross. And the Avondale players get in each other's way. And the Ricobene brothers combine to clear. But that's the sort of nervous defending that'll give Knights hope that they're not out of this game by a long shot.
Poor communication by the two defenders going for the same ball. Lucky for them it fell to Avondale, who eventually get it clear. But Knights are building up some good pressure at the moment.
Jurkovic. Bryce. Franic. The ball is bending away on the wind from Hamish Watson. Keep the comments coming here on Facebook. We are live and interactive. So we have a bit of a delay here due to an injured player. Josip says Luke Jurčić would love to come on and get some payback against Chris Oldfield. Throwback to that penalty shootout between Knights and Hume a few seasons ago when Jurčić was denied by Oldfield in a highlight that made the Fox Sports coverage.
He wasn't the only one denied from the spot that night. Chris Oldfield, he saved all four of them.
All four penalties, yes, I was there. It was last time Knights played finals in NPL, in fact. Back in 2015.
I believe that's the last time Hume City played finals too.
No, they did make it again. I believe they got knocked out. Was it by South Melbourne in 2016 at Lakeside, Chris? Or am I thinking of 2015 just the week after?
I think 2015 the week after.
Here is Franic. Corey Saul. Phil Ricabene went to ground.
Hume City, after a 5-1 win against Dandenong City the week before, suffered that fate last night.
Yeah, big scoreline out at Port Melbourne. And you and I were talking off air pre-game about just the relegation battle and how it's starting to shake out. Of course, the transfer window means that no team is really totally gone, you would say, until at least the halfway point of the season. We'll come back to it because Avondale have got room here. Towns plays it to Zinni. The shot's on for Zinni, and it's a good save from Chakarun to send it over the bar.
Well done, Chakarun. Got his body behind it. The ball was swerving. Got a good, strong hand to tip it over. Avondale with the corner. So looking to try to get their third.
Bit of speculation over which side they take the corner from here because the shot was pretty much right down the middle of the goal, as was the save. They're going to take it from the right side, it seems. Got Natasha Morello, the photographer, down in that corner here. She'll be desperately hoping the rain does hold off at least until full time.
She's probably hoping the Avengers sign that we see there on the freeway holds on too. Lost a couple of its straps.
It's currently billowing off the fence. Avondale with the wind at their backs on this corner kick. Ricabene, an in-swinger. Chakarun got his hands up. Through the box it goes. And Valentini will chase it down. Nice little sidestep to lose Saul. Still going. Took on one defender too many in Bryce. And it's cleared away. Towns against Albano, who's been key to Knights on the counter-attack. And this time Towns is able to guard him and keep it from turning into a meaningful attack.
I love the urgency of the Melbourne Knights too. When they get it back, they're really pushing forward quickly, trying to get Albano in space.
Here is Corey Saul.
There's no sitting back for the Melbourne Knights, that's for sure.
Now, we were discussing, Chris, as that attack shook out Port Melbourne and the relegation picture. 5-1 win for them last night, and given some of the points they've dropped through the year that they probably would have been pretty disappointed about, that might just have been the realisation of what they believe they can accomplish on their day.
Well, one of the most real consistent week in, week out sides, Port Melbourne. They're just the attack they were struggling with a bit earlier. Yuta Konagaya, the Japanese number 10 for Port Melbourne, who was excellent last season, really drove them towards the finals appearance. He hasn't had his shooting boots on this year until last night where he got a goal and I believe helped set up a couple of others too. So it's just that attack that's really been lacking for Port Melbourne, but scored 2 goals against the Melbourne Knights the week before, then 5 last night. So they're just starting to click into gear. You see that sides like probably at the moment I see the Bentley Greens, Avondale, Melbourne Knights. You'd sort of think Heidelberg too, just on recent history. We're really pushing for those finals. I think everybody else is looking for the other 2 spots in the finals and to stay away from the relegation. I think it's that tight between the rest of the teams.
We've had a trainer call here, and that has now come and gone. It's a bizarro world in NPL 2 today, Chris. Can I read you 3 scorelines? Melbourne City 1, Goulburn Valley Suns 3.
Wow.
Langwarrin and Box Hill 0-all in the 74th minute. And even though it's only the first half, Ballarat City 2, St Albans 0. How about that for an array of scorelines in NPL 2? Of course, the 2 NPL streaming games kick off at 5 p.m. and 5:15 p.m. respectively this afternoon.
Especially the 2 country sides, Goulburn Valley and Ballarat, to be leading at this stage.
Great for the Suns. I mean, I tell you who's really happy about that, Eastern Lions. If Langy and Melbourne City both drop points today, then Eastern Lions have a free hit to once again break more than 2 games clear. I think they were 4 points clear coming into this weekend. They could be even further ahead.
It's always the way with Melbourne City and Melbourne Victory. You really got to look at what sides and what kids are actually playing week in, week out. No, Melbourne City have...
Well, they played midweek as well in that catch-up game against Moreland Zebras as well, after a match that resumed upon the send-off for Fraser Chalmers, the Zebras goalkeeper, and yet down to 10 men. It was still the Zebras who prevailed. And as I speak, it's 4-1 now to the Goulburn Valley Suns. Shepparton, away. Anyway, we've got a sub coming up here. It's going to be the first change for either team in this game, as that errant pass may bring it about. It's Yusuf Ahmed who's going to be coming on. He scored last week off the bench against Green Gully, so definitely got goals in him as a super sub. And as the board goes up, I'm just waiting to see who's even motioning to come off, and it's the man who's just been a little agitated today. He scored the first goal in the second minute. Stefan Valentini. A thought on his performance today, Chris?
He's been excellent, really attacking the fullbacks, and that's the competition for spots, because Yusuf Ahmed did start the first couple of games of the season for Avondale, picked up an ankle injury, missed a few weeks, and just coming back through the bench and scoring off the bench. But Valentini was able to keep his spot in the starting lineup, scored early. So it's two real talented wingers. Got a pretty good pedigree with Valentini spending a bit of time overseas, and Yusuf Ahmed in A-League systems with Melbourne City.
Hamish Watson with a header on here. Around the grounds, we've got women's NPL going as well. We've got Box Hill 1 trailing South Melbourne 3, and Katie Lambeski is commentating all the goals today, because in the 75th minute it is Calder 14, Southern 0, and that's with 15 minutes to go. So Katie Lambeski on soccer commentary debut. She's done plenty of AFL, but it's almost an AFL score, Chris.
It is, 14 goals.
So we see Liam Boland here.
Listening back on a few of those goals at half-time, she's doing an excellent job.
You're sport for choice, aren't you? YouTube, Facebook, all the streaming. I'm going to be loving the NPL 2 this afternoon, and that'll be taking us through to the 6 p.m. kickoff, which is Heidelberg versus Altona Magic with Adam Sarakoglu and Marcus Copsey. And I tell you what, that'll be a good game as well, Chris, because we know what Heidelberg are like at home, but Altona is the visiting team. Are they going to fall into the trap that many teams do away to Heidelberg, physical intimidation, really difficult to play against, or are they going to be able to match fire with fire? That's what makes it so intriguing.
I think they will be. Altona, a bit of a slow start to the season, but really finding their straps now. A good win away to Kingston last week. So Melbourne Knights have a good chance with this set piece.
And let's not forget, they are only 2-1 down. Just the odd goal separates these teams. Drizel's delivery all important here. And it's onto the head of Phil Riccobene. Sakaya loaded up like he was about to volley it at his own net, and then just twisted his boot at the last second to hook it away. And that will mean 2 changes now for Avondale, and yet 10-man Knights are yet to turn to their bench. Joey Katabian coming on. And who is coming off? Once again, it is Jonathan Germano who is taking his time to leave the game. It hasn't been a standout today, just a solid contribution from Jonathan Germano this afternoon.
He's been asked to do a lot more defensive work this year, especially with the retirement of Jeff Fleming. He said he's still trying to build up his fitness. He hasn't come in and been able to play full games yet. Gets to around that hour sort of mark and then he's replaced.
Well, and that begs the question, how many minutes left in the legs of Marian Cvitkovic today as well? Will he be a sacrifice for Melbourne Knights, or do they leave him on, needing his creativity to go and chase an equaliser? Here's Watson. Cvitkovic is not even in the picture at the moment, but now he'll get the chance to trot forward because they go backwards and sideways here, Knights. Jurkovic sold into trouble. And then Albano, Knights goal scorer. Joey Franjic. Watson, and here is Cvitkovic. Little jag in, trying to keep the ball. Katabian, heavy challenge. And will this foul be accompanied by a card? It won't, but it is a free kick in prime position for a direct shot on goal.
Well, I guess it might be a bit disappointed the Melbourne Knights that a card wasn't given for that. He was really loading up, and he was getting in his shooting stride when he was brought down by Katabian.
Well, I think the Knights bench was shouting for advantage, but to be honest, I think this is a great chance for them to equalise.
Looked like Heavers was going to let the game sort of run, but the player was played to looked at the referee and slowed down, and then he paid the foul.
This is a big moment for Melbourne Knights. If they can draw level 2-2 at this time in the game, just over 20 minutes to go, it will leave Avondale nervous. They will have conceded 2 goals to 10 men, and Knights would be so emboldened to go and chase the winner. Marian Cvitkovic puts it over the bar, flashes over the glove of Chris Oldfield, who had it covered.
Wasn't a bad effort. Trying to turn back the clock was Cvitkovic. We saw him quite a few years ago, and before that, his knee injuries that he has suffered. Scored plenty of goals from that range, the miraculous goals. You were just talking him up just before as a ball was thrown at Chris Oldfield from the food trucks in the car park.
Now, we do have the live stats going, and I think Bob has pointed out that Knights have received a card on 5 of their 8 fouls today. So, I guess as we see Avondale offside here, and late flag means that Yusuf Ahmed perhaps couldn't quite believe his luck that he'd escaped to that extent. But Chris, that's quite a strike rate to be booked 5 times on 8 fouls.
It's a very, very high strike rate. Just shows that the game has really been able to flow. Hasn't been a huge amount of fouls in this game, despite the strong challenges. Switkovic, great tackle then.
Case in point, and Sakaya then fouls him on the way back through. Advantage was given. Franjic against Phil Ricabene. It's a real battle and almost like a figure 4 leg lock as the two players end up prone on the turf, and good to see it is all smiles as they get back up.
It was a good game of twister there between Ricabene and Franjic.
Just want to give a special shout out to the registrations manager at Football Victoria, Joe Pappas, who joins us on the stream. Hello, Joe. Hope you're enjoying this contest. Avondale holding a 2-1 lead. Melbourne Knights, a bit like the first half, might feel as though they're closing in on an equaliser because they do have the better of general play. Another free kick, and Drizel's delivery is not his best on this occasion. The ball is cleared out for a throw.
So Avondale doing a lot of defending at the moment and just hoping that the Melbourne Knights commit plenty of bodies forward and try to get them on the break, which they've almost done a couple of times with unfortunately the offside flag's gone up for Avondale, but the Knights keep getting these fouls in good positions and keep putting pressure on Chris Oldfield and his back 4. And see an equaliser coming.
Attila Roffley's been walked up to the sideline for Melbourne Knights. If you're going to play on the counter-attack, that's a pretty good option to have to try and stretch the game. The board goes up.
Attila Roffley.
And it is going to be Marijan Cvitkovic. It's almost like they were listening to us from up here in the scaffold, Chris, because time is up for the Knights captain. He hands over the armband to Joey Franjic, and it looks as though he's going to take himself off straight to the tunnel rather than go over to the bench.
Just trying to get off the ground quickly, sort of hobbling a little bit is Cvitkovic.
So Attila Roffley, no, he's not going to go to the tunnel. He's just going to go for the long walk around the pitch. So they've got Offley and Albano now. Those are 2 good outlets to try and hit a long ball and catch Avondale on the counter. The thing is, they're actually on top in general play at the moment. Jurkovic, flag up against Watson. And he goes and batters the Calabria club with that attempt.
Chris Oldfield will take his time over the goal kick. They've definitely got the wind advantage now, the Melbourne Knights too. You'll see this ball hold up in the wind if he plays it long.
I do wonder how big a factor that is. It's not like Avenger Park is an enormous ground, Chris, or it's not like when you got the wind at your back at Hume, for instance, and you have acres of space to play the ball into.
Well, apart from the apartment buildings, as you can see in the background, there's not really much blocking out the wind, but the freeway to the back of us.
Sakaya through ball. Zinni gives himself up so Yusuf Ahmed can come through from an onside position. And now with all back onside, Sakaya denied. Aiden Bryce, big block. To Sakaya slaps his hands together because he knows that could have been 3-1. Instead, Knights trying to stretch the game. Albano couldn't escape down the left because James Ricabene made the interception. And now Stefan Zinni. And Sakaya stopped by Givic. Katavian. Sakaya. Towns. Here's the shouts that he's under the pump, and yet he is able to use his evasive skills to squirm free. Zinni. Can he cut it back to a teammate? Ahmed denied. Blocked away for a corner, and that is so important from Jurkovic to get the body in the way.
I'm not sure he knew too much about that, so he was facing the other direction. It cannons off his back. And Melbourne Knights, sigh of relief. They still stay in this game. They've really got to defend this corner, though. See, even with the 10 men, they've left 2 men forward in Albano and Attila Roffley.
Big moment this, corner kick. Knights have been down to 10 men since the last 5 minutes of the first half. Sakia's corner. Off the head of Ahmed. And looked like a high boot. Indirect free kick. Right inside the penalty area. Just on the edge of the 6-yard box. And, well, Avondale have been well versed in this because would you believe they scored from an indirect free kick just last week?
Well, they try to take it quick. They did it well with Liam Bolam last week, with Gully having everyone pretty much back on the line and still found a way through. So it's something you don't really see that often, but it's pretty bizarre to see it twice in 2 weeks. Can Avondale get 2 goals from it in 2 weeks?
So what they did was a bit of a stutter to try and get the wall off balance, and then rolled to Boland, who just took his run up and swept his left foot through the ball. Will it be something similar right here? This late stage of the game, 75 minutes, you'd think 3-1 might be a bit too hard for Knights to come back from. Huge moment for Avondale. You see the entire Knights team lined up inside the penalty area on the 6-yard box on the goal line. And again, it's a little feint and stutter. Once, twice. Here's Boland, and it's cleared away. And well done, Knights, to withstand the pressure. Katabian now, spilled, and Chakarun recovers.
Well done, Chakarun, to get down there and get the rebound. It was awkward. It bounced just in front of him. He was able to cushion it and get there before any strikers could get it in the back of the net.
Awfully dangerous pass. Intercepted by Yusuf Ahmed. Plays it through, Boland. It sits up for him, and it's saved by Chakarun again. And that was the game, staring Liam Boland in the face. He should have done better.
Yeah, scuffed his shot, Liam Boland. Didn't get enough power into it, just kicked it into the ground. And Chakarun, who did go down a little bit early, was still managed to stop that one. And now the Melbourne Knights look to push forward.
Harry Chakarun has now got some pretty good saves under his belt in this game.
He's having an excellent year, Chakarun. There was a couple of times last year where they did change the goalkeepers and Gifkins got that opportunity.
Ricabene. Towns against Albano. And great use of the body there from Zinni. Just rolled away from Offley. And now it is a race. Franjic calls across Gergic to try and help out. Zinni goes with the cross from deep. And that will not trouble the keeper, but it bends in on the wind. And Boland keeping the attack alive. He sees Sakaya. It's Tasuka Sakaya. And he explodes it across the face. In fact, the ball only just goes out now for a goal kick.
I think Corey Sewell's hair helped him out then. Just skimmed off the top of his head and made it a little bit more difficult for Sakaya to control that. And then he was just off balance when he tried to do the snapshot volley and puts it wide.
Now, Stefan Zinni is down. We suspect it is only a cramp or just a little twinge. Trainer has not been required. It's not going to remove him from the action. Tell you what, Chris, Avondale have now had a bit of a surge, haven't been able to score. You just wonder, could the Knights come back now and try to smash and grab?
It's just the ebb and flow of this second half where Knights have had a couple of opportunities of their own, and now Avondale, it's seeing other goals come in this game, but the passing for the Knights have caused problems for them in the last 5 minutes.
Knights are looking beleaguered. Here goes Zinni, recovered from his little knock a moment ago, and Gergic has done well to put it behind for a corner, but when they break at pace like that, they look like a goal is inevitable.
Gergic did well with that tackle too, had to time it perfectly. Just with a quick feet, Stefan Zinni.
This has been a...
But it's up to the Melbourne Knights. Just the last 5 minutes, they've just given the ball up too cheaply in midfield, and with that extra number, then Avondale are countering, and with the pace that they've got and the quality they've got, you know, they've had the chance to really put this game to bed. But the Knights still stay alive.
Yet another corner. The wind has eased up just for a moment here. See the sun come back out. It is classic Melbourne weather, 4 seasons in a day. And it is James Ricabene with his left foot to take the free kick. And it's a big push. And that chance for Reid is waved away. Chalked off due to committing a rather blatant foul. So the game's still taking place down at Avondale's end at the moment. Knights thinking about another sub, perhaps. They've got AJ in here warming up, along with Luke Juricic.
He was the hero late in the game against Altona.
It's interesting, we've not seen a great deal of him since that game. He's gone back to the 20s to play rather than keep his spot in the seniors. Franjic.
Speaking to Ante Jukic before the season started, he was the one he was really impressed with, that thought was going to be the real young star to shine through for the Knights. After he got that goal, he thought he'd be able to kick on from that, but Still waiting for his next real opportunity.
Maybe he can be a super sub here today. Drizel. James Ricobene. Tough ball to control for both players. Katabian keeps it moving. Boland. New Sakaya was waiting in the middle. It falls to Ahmed. Good pass. Zinni. Sakaya wants it out in front. And that's where Zinni puts it. Flag stays down. And Sakaya, how about that shot? Wow. It wouldn't have counted due to the flag being up indeed. But that was with no backlift. He's just popped that just wide of the top right corner.
It's a bit of a no-look too. He's just rolled into the path and trying to blast it into the top corner.
His technique is pretty swizz.
He's been an outstanding player to watch.
Looks like third and final sub for Avondale is in the offing as well with Keenan Gibson. Zinni in the meantime wants to put this game to bed. Being chased. Boland on his right side here. Boland cutting it back and Ahmed is denied. Aiden Bryce, take a bow. He has been immense as Knights cling to just the 1 goal deficit.
It's another block there. He turns away from it and finds his back again. Aiden Bryce, they've done well, the Melbourne Knights, to hold out Avondale, withstanding this pressure so far.
It has been 15 solid minutes of Knights just chasing back and scrambling to make their defensive line. And is another corner then as a result. The knockout blow. Avondale cannot land it at the moment. Here's the corner. Sakaya. And that one is easy pickings for Chakarun. A chance to take a breath and kick the ball away, and that will invite the pressure right back on because it only went 10 metres beyond halfway.
Gives both sides a chance to make substitutions.
It's going to be Daniel Vizovic for Melbourne Knights and Keenan Gibson for Avondale. And, of course, no 7-second delay on our effects microphone, Chris. So we hope you enjoy the thoughts of Jean Albano there as Giselle comes off and Vizovic comes on and AJ Anir comes on for Ivan Grgic. So they're going for it. They've taken off a centre-back and brought on a winger in Inia.
Looks like they're dropping to a back three. Jurkovic, Bryce and Saul. Vizovic is a wing back.
Stefan Zinni leaves the game having just that little twinge a few moments ago, and even though he did sprint after that, they're not going to risk him any further. He goes off, Keenan Gibson comes on, and here is Yusuf Ahmed. He's been good since coming on, Ahmed. Turns it back to Gibson, first involvement in the game. James Ricobene sends it back to Hillier. Albano buzzing around. Phil Ricobene. Yite Towns, Boland holding up the ball, wants a teammate. Towns gets the return pass. Knights tuck in. The back three you spoke of, Chris. Currently switching from side to side. Katabian trying to put that defence to work. Vizovic first involvement is to guard him. Katabian goes past, cutting across. Boland, will it sit up? Yusuf Ahmed is there and the ball is wrestled away. Aiden Bryce remains the obstacle that Avondale just can't get past for that third goal. Offley caught in possession. Sakaya trying to capitalise. And he rolls it straight to Jurkovic. 83 minutes gone now. Knights. Can they see AJ Anir onto the ball? They can't as it's booted away.
Just with Attila Offley just trying to get into the Melbourne Knights starting lineup. There's 3 times now he's given the ball away cheaply in midfield. That's given Avondale a chance to really put pressure on with numbers forward. So if you want to get in the starting lineup, you've got to have a bit more of an impact to that. He's had probably a negative impact for the Melbourne Knights.
Katabian's pass will draw Chakarun off his line, and that's good goalkeeping from Hari Chakarun to identify the need to get out and clear the ball away.
It's good sweeping by Chakarun. Saying he's had an excellent game.
Score remains 2-1. Melbourne Knights have had their chances to equalise. This game is still all to be played for. Avondale turning up the heat, trying to find a third, trying to make it 7 wins from 7. Melbourne Knights trying to avoid their second defeat of the campaign. Oh, that looked like a high boot. And the referee agrees. Jean Albano, all credit to him there for getting in and winning the ball off Hillier.
He's been outstanding. He just hasn't given up any ball, any 50-50-50, he's put his body on the line. And see the Melbourne Knights fans over to the left of us in full voice as they got another set piece to get this equaliser.
And so with Drizel now off, it is Franjic on free kick duty. To the penalty spot it goes, and Hillier with a half volley away. And Katabian beats Offley to the ball. Franjic, who took the free kick. Offley, Vizovic, Watson caught in possession. Keenan Gibson, and just knocks that one straight down to the Knights keeper, Chakarun. Melbourne Knights have been down to 10 men since the late stages of the first half when Tomislav Uskok picked up 2 yellow cards in quick succession. Long raking ball here from Saul, and AJ Ania can't control it.
It's a good idea from Saul. He wasn't too far away from that AJ Ania. AJ Ania, sorry.
That's all right. Throw down the line. And did it ever go in? Avondale going to get another throw. They are. So
I've always thought this would be a good time-wasting tactic, yeah, a bit of the dark arts.
Agree with you, Chris. One of those curiosities of the laws of the game. Anyway, this one is a legal throw. And now Sakaya trying to outfox Aiden Bryce. Jurkovic won't let him pass, though. Knights ball. Jurkovic taking the throws, insisting on it. Offley. His first thoughts are to turn and go backwards. Aiden Bryce. Watson, the hope, and it's headed away by Reed. Vizovic has space, and then Watson maybe wasn't expecting the pass. He does get a shot away. It hits Vizovic. Knights getting in each other's way. Watson again. Strong work over the ball. Back to Corey Saul. Saul against Katabian. Right-footed cross and needed a good header. Hillier provided it. Danger not yet cleared for Avondale, though. Offley lets fly. And he was off balance and it showed.
He had 3 players in the box. He should have just clipped it towards the penalty spot. We had a great opportunity for the Melbourne Knights. Chris Oldfield can just take the sting out of it for the moment, but that was good work from the Melbourne Knights.
Avondale have already made their 3 subs. I don't think it's in their interests to stop trying to score a third here, Chris, because that might just invite the Knights on. For long stretches of this game, Knights haven't looked like they were down to 10. It's only really been the last 15 minutes with all these Avondale breaks that the man advantage has really become obvious.
That's it. When they give the ball away and they're just caught so short at the back, that's when it becomes really obvious. But in possession going forward, the Melbourne Knights have done quite all right. Just still haven't been able to get that equaliser, though.
It's a long goal kick. It shows that the wind has died down. Gibson. Boland. Trying to control the ball. And, he looked as though he'd wrapped his arm around the head of Jurkovic there. I did mention that there is real history between those two. Boland gets a yellow card, and I think the referee's right to produce one there. No love lost between Liam Boland and Nikola Jurkovic.
It's a good headlock there by Liam Boland. Dragged Jurkovic to the floor.
Offley. Jurkovic now with the adrenaline pumping, trying to get to this ball, and he keeps it in. He's done well. Jean Albano. And running into traffic, cleared away by Sakaya. Pressure starting to build here at the end of this match. It is still 2-1 to Avondale. Liam Boland's penalty, the difference between the teams. AJ Ania. Jurkovic. Offley. Corey Saul. And Phil Ricabene got out in front of the ball. Saul again. Offley. James Ricabene. And it is going to be Knights ball. They won't go away, Chris. They are finishing this game strong.
Sort of sense this equaliser. I feel like there's going to be one more goal in this game. Avondale's going to get them on the break, or Melbourne Knights are going to get this outstanding equaliser.
Albano, great movement from Jean Albano. Watson went for the return ball, And they just overcooked it a little bit there. What work from Albano, but with 30 seconds of regulation to go, that's not what Knights needed.
See the board down there in front of us. It's got the number 4 up.
So it will be enough time for Knights to try and get an equaliser, that's for sure. Job far from done for Avondale. Offley. Saul. James Ricabene puts it into the crowd. Up goes the board. 4 additional minutes to finish this game. Top of the table battle. Avondale on track to win again. Knights trying to spoil their party. Both benches have fallen conspicuously silent here, Chris, with the game. It's really up to the players from here.
See, the subs have been made. So how long is it going to...
And now Katabian's pass puts Sakaya into space. This is where Avondale have been so dangerous. Return ball, Joey Katabian. Is this the knockout punch? It's blocked away. And Aiden Bryce, the magnet to the ball, stands tall once again.
He's done extremely well just protecting his goalkeeper. So 3 or 4 big blocks in this second half from him.
And Knights are going to roll the dice here. They have got 4 players in the midfield third defending this corner. They want to clear and go. And Avondale are going to leave numbers back as a result.
And because of that, I think they've decided that they're going to play it short.
So with only 1 of the 4 minutes expired, well, they've outfoxed them a little bit there. Boland turning it back to Yusuf Ahmed, Katabian, Boland, and then Vizovic back to the goalkeeper. Chakarun gets the clearance, but he doesn't get the accuracy that he needed. Instead, it's a crowd catch rather than a counter-attack. Avondale will slow it down. Knights are leaving numbers forward here. They're going to take the risk to try and get that equaliser. Aiden Bryce has to focus on defending first. Yusuf Ahmed, that is a clumsy challenge at best. Knights aren't going to take too much umbrage to it because they want to restart play as quickly as possible.
I think now they've just got to send one of the centre-backs forward.
Watson is going to bring it down. AJ in here can't get a play at the ball though. Vizovic using that left foot off the head of Reed. Ricabene rises, cleared away by Yusuf Ahmed, and the bounce fooled Boland. Bryce, sliced clearance. Sakaya. Offley chasing him. Sakaya went to ground, no foul, and Phil Ricabene not taking any risks, and that clearance is going to turn out to be a very effective pass. Yusuf Ahmed is underneath it. And he waits to engage Jurkovic, who, well, swallowed him up initially, and then a foul on the way back out. 2.5 minutes of the 4 stoppage gone. James Ricabene.
I think it's just time for the Knights to leave one of the smaller players back. Send Bryce forward, just somebody else in the air. They're playing the long balls anyway at the moment, the Knights.
Well, we're down to the last minute of the 4 stoppage here, so they're probably down to a chance at best. Ball is down the wrong end as far as they're concerned. Can they fashion one more forward foray? That is a foul, and that means that in addition to having to get it down the other end, they've got to clear whatever comes up from this free kick first. And you wouldn't be surprised if Avondale just roll it down towards the corner.
It's a good chance to take 40 seconds off the clock.
So, with the full-time whistle impending, the game hasn't quite had the fire and brimstone of the lead-up. You hope that both teams will be handshakes and walking off in peace at full-time. We might just stay with it, Chris. You never know. And so we wait for play to restart here. There's all of 15 seconds of additional time that had been allocated to go. Boland down to the corner. And there doesn't appear to be a foul decision. It's going to be a goal kick, but stoppage time has expired. So it is all on the discretion of the referee from here. Can Knights get one last hurrah to try and get a share of the spoils? Off the head of Towns. And Sakaya watches that run over the line. It is a magnificent 7 for Avondale. They continue their winning start to the NPL Victoria season. And it is Liam Boland's penalty that is the difference between the teams. Full time at Avenger Park. Avondale 2, Melbourne Knights 1. And Chris Gleeson, this was a hard-fought game. Melbourne Knights never went away, and the red card for Tomislav Uskok, they can make every case that had it been 11 versus 11, they would have left with a better result.
Yeah, well, the Melbourne, you see the quality of both the sides too. They're definitely going to be two that will be fighting for the championship this year. This is just the first story of the meeting of these two. They play later in the year, and a good chance that they'll play in finals as well. Melbourne Knights going to 10 men, never gave up, but Avondale took their chances, a couple of chances well. They had plenty of chances to win this game, but, you know, Aidan Bryce's a one-man wall, and Tomislav Uskok's 2 yellows in quick succession really changed that game. And it's Avondale who go from 7 wins from 7 games, and it's a good little break now that they've got from the top of the league away from Bentley.
Certainly is. Chris Gleeson, thank you for your commentary and your company today. Really appreciate it. And thank you to our production crew as well. On behalf of our broadcast team, my name's Teo Pellizzeri. Thank you for your company today from the Reggio Calabria Club, Avenger Park, where the top team, Avondale, continue to win. The full-time score, Avondale FC 2, Melbourne Knights 1. Good afternoon and goodbye.